Man, like I've been feeling like I'm really not getting any work done nowadays. I've been procrastinating, having too much fun with my family. Just can't get anything done. You have any advice?
Yeah, bro, I know exactly what you're going through. And it's actually really simple. You just gotta stop being a bitch.
Yeah, okay.
Back in that bag again. Whoa, yeah. Hey. Back in that, yeah. Tell them to watch it. Now I ain't talking my pockets. Just know we ain't running out the way that we stock it. If I got it, you got it. If I call it, she slide and tell her to mop it. Yeah, I got that shit doing. Damn, she took that thing off and bring it around. Going at it till I'm on. Put that 90 in a hole, I'm being it.
Most of you have really ambitious goals of achieving high status, maybe making $1 million or getting to a big school, but you lack clarity on how to actually get there. You don't know where to start, how to use your time effectively, and what kind of work you should be doing towards that goal. All of you are so fixated on making millions that you don't even know how to make your first $1,000 on your own. Do you even know how a millionaire's life looks like? I've spoken to quite a few of them now, and all their schedules look the exact same. They wake up at the same time every day, they spend 1 to 2 hours doing some type of physical exercise, and get this, they all spend 4 hours a day towards their main thing that is making the money, and they cut out every single other distraction in their lives. That's it. That's the secret you've all been waiting to hear. You lack clarity, and that's why the first thing you need to do is define that vision as clearly as possible. And once you have it, you need to reverse engineer that vision into simple steps until you get there. For example, let's say your vision is to be a world-class personal trainer. To gain clarity on that vision, you just need to pick a problem to fix, dedicate the next 5 to 10 years in a niche, and then get so good at solving that problem until people are willing to pay you a lot of money for it. A great example of this is knees over toes guy who had a huge problem on knee injury. And what do a lot of athletes have in common? Bad knees. He was told he would never be able to play a sport again without feeling that pain, so he dedicated the rest of his life to figure out how to solve this problem. This philosophy can be applied to anything, and through trial and error, it'll be that much easier to just do the work. After establishing your vision, the most important thing you need is a sustainable system. Having a system is so important that even the most successful companies in the world do this. Look at McDonald's, for example. They have created the perfect system for the fast food industry that anyone in the world can just jump into work and the system will provide results. Remember, it's not that person that made the difference, it was the system. You are the same. You need it because you're not the secret to your success, but your system is. So if you have a good system, it will allow you to play the game forever. Just like Alex Hormozi says, you don't win at business, the goal is to stay in business. He says, play the game of infinity and you will succeed no matter what. Having a system will allow you to have something to fall back on even when shit hits the fan. If it worked once, then guess what? It'll work again. Just like how baseball players have a system to hit home runs, they don't do it every game, but they just need it to happen a couple times here and there to make a significant impact on the game. Okay, you get that having a system is really important. So how do you actually build it? The number one best advice I can give you to build your system is to find someone in your field that is already successful and do whatever it takes to work for them for free or pay them to teach you how to do their system so that you can get the results for yourself. And then once you learn that system, engrave it into your soul and just do the work every single day until you just get there. The second idea I wanted to talk about is start now, learn later. Don't learn now and then start. The biggest mistake I've done on my journey when I wanted to grow a personal brand or start entrepreneurship is I wanted to learn every single thing and then start. This literally has cost me 1 year of my life, and I chose to procrastinate and get stuck in the mental masturbation of basically doing nothing. I first read about action faking when I was reading Unscripted by MJ DeMarco, and he basically describes it as doing everything except making the sale of your first customer. This is literally as stupid as me saying you should only study basketball, look at the workouts, watch tape, watch NBA games. The only thing that you can't do is play basketball. How stupid does that sound? It doesn't matter if you learn every single tactic and strategy in the game of ball. It's not gonna do you any good if you don't actually know how to play ball. And by actually engaging yourself, by putting yourself into the field, or in this case, into the court, you will actually make mistakes that will open your eyes to your next bottleneck that you need to work on. And that's how you level up every week in business or anything that you put your mind towards. But the reason people don't want to do this is because they're afraid of failing. Newsflash, guys, everyone fails, even the professionals. Giannis Antetokounmpo said it best in his interview.
Michael Jordan played 15 years. Won 6 championships. The other 9 years was a failure? That's what you're telling me. There's no failure in sports.
Do you now understand what the issue is? It's not that you're not sufficient enough to do the actual work. The truth is you're scared and don't have the balls to pursue and just do the work. When you start first, you put yourself in the jungle, and guess what? You're forced to survive. The best example I can give you for this is remember every single time you got trained at a new job. Did you really get training, or were you just put into the work and just learn from your mistakes as you went? Do you see now that learning from your failures will actually get you closer towards your goal than you ever imagined? Just like when you play a video game, you need to fail and die hundreds of times before you pass that level. Steven Pressfield, author of Do the Work, says act now, reflect later. Whatever you do, you need to just start your first draft and get it done. Don't worry about editing it or going back in it. No, just get it done. Whatever you do, just write it out as shit as it turns out, because getting something done is better than not having anything at all. Doing the work is a concept we overcomplicate way too much because of external noises that come in the form of distraction, self-doubt, people judging you, fear of failing, imposter syndrome, anything that is tied to your ego, because your ego's job is to keep you safe from failing. Remember, Mark Zuckerberg said the biggest risk is not taking any risk at all. Which brings me on to my next idea. You're trying to fix the symptoms instead of the problem. When I was reading Unscripted by MG DeMarco, he talks about if a car has a gas leak, fixing the symptom would be going to the gas station and filling the car with more gas, where fixing the problem would be just going to the mechanic and actually getting the gas leak fixed. Some of the symptoms that you might be experiencing is things like I mentioned before, like self-doubt, fear, whatever it is. But these are not the problem, it's something much deeper than that. From my experience, poor mental health is the leading cause of these symptoms, and it comes from a cluster of different internal and external problems happening in your life. The number one problem that I can identify for you is that you dread your day-to-day life. Some of you might absolutely hate your 9-to-5s, or even worse, you're trying to get into a 9-to-5 because your job sucks even more than that. And most of you just live on autopilot. You wake up, commute to work 9-to-5, commute back home, take the dog on a walk, cook dinner, watch TV until the end of the night. You dread going back to work the next day, waiting until the weekend till you get those 2 days of freedom, which is essentially spent on escapism. You watch more TV, play more video games, and scroll social media, doing anything that numbs the pain away from going back to work. And the cycle repeats again and again. Just these series of events I listed create a cluster of symptoms known as fear, anxiety, procrastination, and most importantly, escapism. Because we have to ask ourselves, what are we really escaping from? When you sit down and choose to procrastinate, what is that very thing you're trying to avoid? And the simple answer is your miserable life. Now, I understand that most of you are just put into this situation by society, or a lot of you have a lot of commitments and responsibilities that you just signed your life to, so fair enough. But I want to remind you of something very, very important. When you're on your final minutes, on your deathbed, when everything is set and done, are you going to cry and wish you just put a bit of effort to make your life better? Or are you going to be completely fine with how things turned out? If you answered the first thing, then you need to just do the work by any means necessary. And that's really all it takes. 1 to 4 hours of deep work a day towards that main thing. And if you have a busy full-time schedule, then find those 1 to 2 hours of deep work a day, and that's all you really need. Hopefully you pick something that you can see yourself doing every day, even when it sucks, because spoiler alert, it's gonna suck a lot of the times, especially in the beginning. Overthinking leads to resistance. Once we overthink, we might as well take a gun and shoot ourselves in the foot before the race even starts. I'm starting to do this every time I get overwhelmed now. I realize that I don't have any peripheral enemies, meaning we don't have anyone in the world that will stop us from reaching our goals except for what is inside of us. That one thing being resistance. There is resistance in every single one of us that buckles us to our knees and keeps us from actually moving forward. And no, you're not the only exception from resistance. Literally every single person on the planet goes through resistance. Whether you're Joe Schmo or Brad Pitt, you are going to battle resistance. The only difference between Joe Schmo and Brad Pitt is that Brad Pitt was able to overcome his resistance and fight a new battle every single day. But keep in mind, the war never ends. It's always there and ready to bite you in the ass again. Don't get me wrong, we're all going to lose battles, and that comes in the form of depressive episodes, anxiety, those off lazy days. Everyone literally goes through those off days. But the successful ones are the ones who win 80% of the battles to continue winning the war. The more battles you can win, the longer you can play the game. So yes, you are no different than someone like Brad Pitt. He is way better looking than you and more talented, but you get the point. If you think you're not capable of greatness, that is just a self-limiting belief that you have in your mind. Steven Pressfield says, the more important a call or action to our soul's evolution, the more resistance we will feel towards pursuing it. The warrior and the artist live by the same code of necessity, which dictates that the battle must be fought anew every day. There never was a moment, or never will be, where we are without the power to alter our destiny. If you still don't believe me, then I'll say this. I'm the biggest overthinker on the planet. I have below average writing skills, below average communication skills. I have high social anxiety, yet I'm still finding resistance just like every single one of you. So what makes me able to do this but not you? One, by understanding that there are highs and lows to every single thing you pursue in life. So detaching from the outcome will ironically get you the outcome you desired. In other words, just practice detaching detaching from the outcome whether you hit or not. The only thing that matters is doing the work. Detach, do the work, and then do some more work. That's it. Awa Kanzo was a master in archery, and he used to tell his students, what's standing in your way is thinking way too much of the target at hand. You hit a milestone, congrats. Celebrate it momentarily and then go back to work. You have to want to be better. You have to want to practice and make it a part of who you are. Philip Roth says a great writer writes every day, an amateur writes when they're inspired. Don't be an inspired writer, just be a writer. That's it. That is the secret sauce you've been waiting to hear. Just do the work and the rest of it will take care of itself. The last idea I wanted to talk about is if it were easy, then everyone else would be doing it and it would no longer mean anything to you. It's supposed to be hard. Remember, every time you want to break down, cry, or curse about it, remember that this is what it takes. This is what every other successful person on the planet had to go through. It would lose its value if it wasn't hard and it wouldn't be worth pursuing anymore. Be grateful that's extremely hard. Ask for it to be harder because it means that you get to dine with the greats and be recognized by like-minded people. Do you really want it to be that easy that everyone you know can also do it? It would be absolutely worthless at that point. So every time you feel like quitting, remember that this is what it means to pursue any type of greatness. And if you can't bear this feeling, then let me remind all of you, what's waiting for you on the other side of comfort is misery. Misery in knowing that you gave up, knowing that you could have went that extra mile, and misery in your lack of virtue and character. I don't know about you guys, but that is far much worse than the pain and hurdles that you must overcome on the path to greatness. If you can overcome all of these hurdles, just know that you are part of the 1% of people who believes in themselves and were able to overcome all the hurdles that 99% of the people got weeded out from. So I have a question for you. Will you be part of the 99% who got weeded out from the competition? Or will you be that beautiful tree who endured and planted its roots to stay in for the long game? I hope you know what the answer is now, and I hope you realize that it can only be found within you. This video was meant to guide you, and I hope you were inspired to just do the work. If you enjoyed that video, please subscribe for more content on masculinity, philosophy, and relationships. Until next time, guys.